Kia ora, good morning. I just woke up a few minutes ago, but I just want to document this dream that I had because it was a scene from the movie The First Sign. I don't know who the child was in it. I don't know if it's because of the conversation I had with my son yesterday. I don't know. I don't know who the character was. All I can say is that it was done inside like an old Gothic castle. The interior of the scene was like in a old Gothic castle, with like the big heavy drapes and the dark carved furniture and, big giant candles and, all that kind of spooky sort of Gothic interior. Much like if you go to my ex and that, you'll see, I don't know if I've put them up on my Instagram, screenshots where I put the pin Tardowski's castle, Tardowski's place, Tardowski's home, in Message in a Bottle. It's got like, that sort of vampiric, sort of gothic-y style look to it, where it's all dark furniture and candles burning on the walls and big massive wrought iron candle holders and, the big dark sort of red velvety curtains and very vampire-like, very gothic. Well, the movie set was like that. And it was literally just like one scene. Oh, excuse me. Where this kid had been held captive, obviously one of the kids at the School of Alchemy, I'm guessing, who had been kidnapped and was going to be sacrificed. And they broke free from the sacrificial room. And, all the cloaked figures were getting ready to gather and they were doing this big ceremony thing while this kid was strapped to the sacrificial table. And he used his magic to break because they didn't know that one of his gifts was he could, I'm assuming, what they used to restrain him, his power was like, I don't know if it was like whether he could, whether his power was telekinesis or something where he could like move things with his mind so he unlocked himself, or whether his gift was like, he could like manipulate natural materials like steel and leather and iron and all that sort of thing. I don't know. All I know is that he was staring at it and it all kind of just fell apart and they didn't know that that was one of his gifts. And then he like sneaks out of the room and runs down the hallway and there's this woman flying, like she's chasing him. She's wearing this incredibly gorgeous gown with her cloaked hood on, and as he's running down these hallways trying to get out and trying to escape what's coming at him, she lifts up her gown, like the inside of her cloak, and she starts flying, like a vampire would. But she's standing, but it's like she's using her cloak to fly, and it's all like, you know, black and dark red and dark purples and all of that, like the whole scene was all just very gorgeous and gothic. And he falls, he fell over, and I don't know where it came from. I don't know if oh no, that's what it was. Sorry, as he ran out, he grabbed his wand, because they put his wand in like a special thing, because they believe, you know, they believe if they have control of your wand, they have control of your power, right? So he grabbed his wand and he's running, and he's trying to use his wand to, you know, like open the windows to call for help, and, you know, to all that sort of thing. And he falls and his wand snaps. And he's thinking, oh my God, oh my God. And then this big, I'm guessing, moth. I mean, it looked like a moth, but it was huge. Came to the window and like at the boy, and it's like the it's like the moth was saying, "You don't need your wand. Your wand is an extension of you." Because going back to the start of the movie, remember when Miss Amber's being chased by the Abiju, and her crystal ball on her crystal ball on the top of her. I haven't decided yet whether it's her staff or her wand breaks, and the crystal ball like rolls to the foot of the Abiju. It's kind of like that, but his wand snaps, and this moth flies to the open window and kind of says something to this boy, and it's something like, you don't need your wand is an extension of you. Use the power within, sort of thing. Because then the boy stands up as this woman's flying towards him in this gorgeous gown and cloak, and he points his finger and he says, "You have no power over me." And the zap comes out of his finger and it hits the woman, and she goes flying back, and the woman looks terrified. And then she calls for backup, and all the other people come out, you know, in their hoods and all of that. And he's using his finger to point, and, you know, they're getting like electric shock pushed back, and then he jumps on the back of the moth and flies to safety, like flies away. And then I just heard, cut, and the person stands in front of my eyes with that, you know, the clacker to let you know that the scene's over. And then I went over to the little boy and I put my arms around him. I was like, oh my God, that was amazing. You were incredible. And he was like, yeah, what did he say? I didn't know I had it in me. When he shouted, "You have no power over me." It was almost like he wasn't saying it with enough conviction. And so this time he used all his conviction to say, "You have no power over me." Like, you know, it was like the third or fourth time he had to redo the scene, because he wasn't saying, "You have no power over me," with enough conviction. And I was so proud of him. I was saying, you know, "Oh, you've done fantastic, and you're going to win a Northie for this." I was saying to him. He was only about maybe 11 or 12. You know, because the first sign is our version of Harry Potter. And he wasn't. He must have been. He must be one of the kids from the school. So it's almost like my dream was showing me a scene that I need to write into the movie. But it felt like it was incredible to watch. It was like my heart was pounding watching it. But I knew I was watching a movie. I didn't know I was watching it like I was on set until the man with the clacker came out. Cut. Scene 2, take. I think it was, well, not scene 2. I don't know what scene it was. I just know it was take 4. So that was his fourth take, but like he nailed it, sort of thing. So it's interesting that it was like a moth, because moths take souls to the underworld. And I'm just thinking they must have sacrificed other kids there. And what I'm thinking, I might have other children sitting on the backs of the moth, but it's symbolic of the children that they'd already sacrificed. And the moth was coming to get their souls. Because moths take souls to the underworld to be judged. I mean, generally children, if they're pure and innocent, go, once they pass through the gates of judgment, they go straight up into the gates of heaven. But we all have to pass through the gate, unless they're babies, obviously. But these were like teenagers, like, children. And I know why he was chosen. Like I figured it out, like I've understood it. I understood the assignment in my dream. I'm just not going to say anything because of, people have a tendency to nick my stuff. But, God, the scene looked amazing. She was hooked up to this harness thing that made her look like she was flying, but you couldn't see the strings, so to speak. She had a very sort of Ursula von der Leyen look about her. I know. Monsters University, the part 2 to Monsters Inc. The teacher? Is it Helen Mirren, I think, don't quote me, who does the voice of the principal, and she's like that dragon lizard lady, and she comes flying in and she's got that suit on, and it kind of like that, but she was wearing this long flowing gown with this cloak and with a cowl and all that on it, and because they were getting ready to, it was all like ceremonial. God, like it, yeah, it looks so cool. So I don't know where we film it, or whether we film live on location at some Gothic castle in Europe, or whether we build the set inside the Fairyland Productions hangar or something. But it looked amazing. Whoever built that set did a fantastic job. Like, you could feel his fear when he was running down the hallway and that, trying to escape, and he used his wand to open the big massive window, and he's using his voice to call for help, and then the moth arrives, and it's a big giant moth. Imagine what a moth looks like under a microscope, how they look a bit freaky and creepy and icky. That's what the moth looked like. But it was obviously benevolent because it's only doing its job. So yeah, he jumped on the back of the moth, and it took him out of the castle. He must have been in the underworld. I mean, I guess he was, if they were getting ready to sacrifice him at the gates of the underworld. So yeah, so pretty cool. So I had to document it. I'll speak to you later. Ka kite anō.